Good morning and happy blessed Friday. I was thinking about box checkers or box checking, aka societal norms, and having at one point in my life been a box checker. They held great value and were taught to me to hold great value. And one particular box that I wanted to check was the marriage box. And it held such a deep value for me growing up with both parents in the home, growing up around aunts and uncles who were married. The ideal family for me was something that I always wanted for myself until I was handed a different deck of cards. Right, that's life. And in my deck of cards, I had the baby and not the marriage. I then had some serious relationships, and the goal for me was marriage. Even if I wasn't upfront about it in the beginning, that was my ultimate goal. And when those relationships didn't work, I questioned myself. Had I known what I know today, that there were two people in that relationship, I probably wouldn't have been so hard on myself. And when I say two people in that relationship, not at all was I perfect, nor am I perfect. But at that period in time, I couldn't look at the relationship in its entirety. Instead, I focused on something being wrong with me. And I believed that something was wrong with me. And this was the reason why. This is the story I would tell myself. This is the reason why the relationships weren't working. Well, if I looked at the relationships like a mixed drink or a recipe and something missing from the recipe, no matter how much I put all those ingredients together, it wouldn't have came out right because of whatever was missing. And we're talking about two people from two different backgrounds, life experiences, thought processes, and being on different pages. So how was it going to work? It wasn't that I couldn't get married, because there was this point in time where I was proposed to and I accepted. But I was brought clarity about that relationship and opted out. Thank God. Because that man was not for me and that relationship was not for me. But I could have easily done it, and I could have easily been that box checker where I checked that box and said, okay, married, check. But I didn't even know who I was like I know who I am today. And it would have just been an accident waiting to happen. But think about the pressures that people fall under when they are fixated on box checking. That society says, if you don't have this by this age, or you haven't accomplished this by that age, then you'll never amount to, or you may never have. And that's the wrong messaging. That everything happens and has a purpose. It happens at its own time and right on time. And that whether you meet a mark or check a box or not can never and will never determine your value. Do you want to be in a functioning, healthy relationship? That's the question. And then if so, then what will that take? And it's gonna step outside the boundaries of just box checking. And so that work begins with yourself, because externally I fit those boxes back then, but internally, that didn't align with what was happening, right? So it wasn't in alignment with how I presented versus the things that were going on inside of me. It was a miss. And I'm so very thankful that I've had this opportunity to grow. And even I had this clarity that was really crisp and clear. And so I knew I had to pray on it. And the question that was posed to me was, Shani, what if you never get married? And I came to peace with that. That if that is not what God has for me and it never happens, I'm still worth and I'm still of worth and I still hold value. Not anyone can determine that. No one external, no material thing, no degrees, no car, no house, no husband. No one determines my worth or my value. And so when you're able to step away from giving that much power to societal norms, only then I feel like can you live in peace. And it's more spiritual for me, more spiritual peace. I refuse to hand over my life to box checking. Where are you at? How much value do you give societal norms, and how much of that do you allow to determine who you are and what you're worth? Thanks for listening. I love you. Happy Blessed Friday.